Delilah said unto Samson, Behold, you hast mocked me and told me lies. Now tell me, I pray you, wherewith you might be bound. And he said unto her, If they bind me fast with new ropes that were never occupied, then shall I be weak and be as another man. Delilah therefore took new ropes and bound him therewith, and said unto him, The Philistines be upon you, Samson. And there were liars in wait abiding in the chamber, and he broke them from off his arms like a thread. Rastafari. Greetings, giving thanks, do your work, Rastafari, all over the world, every day, every night, every minute, every moment. Yeah, give thanks. Give thanks for the air we breathe. So, little bit of information I took out of the Atlantic, and talking about people, you know, they did some kind of poll on executives, and they asked, do you consider Edward Snowden a hero or traitor? So here's what some answers said. This guy is the vice president of Snoople, and the father of the internet, said he's a harmful actor. Well, that's quite a statement. Basically, he calls him bluff. He calls him an actor. Whether he's an actor or not, who cares? You didn't answer the question. You know, I don't see him as a hero or traitor. I just see him as a person who saw something wrong and he did something about it. Something we should probably see more in our world, but something that the Pentagon, the defense industry has sought to eliminate. Babylon has sought to eliminate the idea of us to be thinking for ourselves. Because when we think for ourselves, we actually think for the Creator. But when we think for other man, who we think for? Somebody else called him a change agent, which is basically the same thing, right? From Cisco. The guy from Reddit called it Dreamboat. And which technology or tech company poses the greatest risk to personal privacy? So you had a list. They say Facebook, Snoople, U.S. government, third-party data brokers, and then it says it's not the tech companies, it's the unconcerned citizens and the complacent culture. So here's your results. I guess you can only choose between one of them, but I mean, obviously they're all involved. They're all they are all complacent, and they are all accomplices of the same crime. So 16% says it's not tech companies. I mean, that's an easy answer, right? 14% says Facebook, 11% says Snoople, 8% said the U.S. government, 8% said third-party data brokers. Well, I say it's the U.S. government. Out of all those, I say the U.S. government is the biggest culprit, because the U.S. government's role is to protect the citizens. Now, if people's information is being recorded and monitored without their consent and without their knowledge, I would say that's illegal activity unless they're being suspected of a crime. And if they are suspected of a crime, you have to make those people aware that they're being suspected and they're being investigated. You can't just go around investigating who you want, find what you want, take the cases to court you want, and then dismiss all the other ones without letting anyone know. Now, the whole Snoople thing, here's where I really get tripped up. These organizations, really institutions, were built on the taxpayer money through the Defense Department. Now, this was supposed to be, of course, if you asked them back then, they'd say, oh, this is for national security, we need this. But really, they were looking to set up the system where they would have people search for what they wanted on the internet and be able to record all those searches. I mean, it's real simple. When I think about it in my head, I think, wow, how much information can you actually get? And, you know, and if you were in their shoes, in other words, if you were able to go out and search anybody you wanted, find out anything you wanted about them, and then use that against them, how much power would you actually have? Especially if you were the institution behind the walls, right? Being run by the order takers. So, you know, all these people are fault. Third-party data brokers, you know, they're hired to take the information, to steal the information, and then they give it to, like, for instance, the NSA, or possibly some of these bigger corporations that are hesitant to aggressively collect information. Although they may passively collect information, they may be hesitant to hack into other people's computers and take their information, whereas these third-party data brokers are willing to do those things. So Everybody is to blame, but again, it's the United States government to protect the citizens against unlawful searches and seizures. It's the police's job to protect me from getting robbed in my house. And if I don't know that my information is being stolen or my house is being robbed, it's still the police's job to protect it. It doesn't matter if you know or not. It doesn't matter if you call them up and say, hey, my house is being robbed. If they see your house being robbed, they have a duty to do something about it. Somebody from the U.S. Open Data Institute made a good statement. They said they've successfully persuaded millions of people to surrender private information in exchange for continued participation in the community, and repeatedly shown that they're not to be trusted with that information. They're referring directly to snooping. Somebody made a comment about FaceCrook, I think, in here. It says right here, the sheer amount of information. No, this was a comment made about FaceCrook. And the next comment is made about Snoople. The sheer amount of information captured from the average Snoople user makes this company a particularly big threat. That was from Jillian York, Director of International Freedom of Expression, Electronic Frontier Foundation. But you know, that's the whole thing, is that when Snoople came out, everybody said, oh, this is great, you know, this and that. Of course, they know that they had the ability to record people's information, but who would have thought they would have did that? Because in our mind, we would have thought that we would have had the necessary protections put in place to stop that.